Welcome in, everybody. Ty Bartell in with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we head over to Lisbon with their girls basketball head coach, Mr. Ryan Snyder. Coach, how we doing today?
Great. How about you?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad myself, sir. I like to always start off with the practice question because now we've had a couple practices under our belts. Most of the teams do. What are practices looking like? What's standing out to you early on?
Just the hard work that all the girls put into it every single day, and the focus. This time of year, the focus is the biggest thing because you're putting in all your offenses, all your defenses, all your out of bounds plays. You have to have that focus every single day and that concentration, and that can get monotonous just walking through plays and going through plays and over again, learning them. It's that just slow motion drain of a practice sometimes when you're trying to learn a new play, trying to learn new out of bounds play, and to be able to keep that focus with the girls so far. And it just shows you how dedicated they are and ready they are for the season, that they're putting in all that time and energy, concentration, and the extra work of learning the plays outside of basketball, drawing them on paper so that they can learn them that way. So that's the biggest thing right now, is the focus and the effort that we're learning all the new stuff.
I understand the roster may not be finalized just yet, but why don't we shout out some of the big name impact players for this year's team and sort of a meet the team segment early on?
That um, Morgan Lively is going to be our leader on the team. She was first team All EOAC last year, second team All County, honorable mention Northeast Inland District, or second team Inland District last year. She will be our leader on and off the floor. Great role model for the younger girls coming in. Great effort every single day. She's one of the most dominant post players in our league, probably one of the most dominant post players of anybody we're going to play this year. She's going to be our leader. Brooklyn Cousins is our returning point guard. She'll be back again this year. Great attitude. Love having her around. She's a great shooter. As soon as she believes she's a great shooter, she's going to be an even better shooter. But she has one of the best forms on our team, if not the best form shooting wise. Like I just said, great leader. We have our other returning letterman is Lila Brown. I'm excited to see what she can do. She was a freshman last year. Excited to see what she can do coming in this year as a sophomore and what she improved on over the summer. We also have Alyssa Wells and Moray Ramos. They're both seniors this year. They're both going to be playing huge roles for us. Both very similar girls of attitude-wise. They're both funny. They both bring this lightness to the team. We call Alyssa Wells our mini Coach Meek, who's our assistant coach. Alyssa Wells is slowly turning in to Coach Meek, which is a very big compliment for Alyssa. We also have Jaden Smith, who's coming in this year as a varsity basketball player. She's going to be stepping up in a big role this year. She's very fast, very great defensively, does all kinds of things for us, can play a lot of different positions. So I'm excited to have her around. We've got a lot of other players that we're trying to find who's going to make that next big step. We've got Michaela Farson. She's a junior. We have Gianna, Maddie Klein. We have our foreign exchange student, Lavisa. And we have Diamond Bailey, who's new to our program this year, which I'm really excited she came out too. And just there's a lot of openings that can be taken by any of those players. So it's going to be a fun, exciting year to see who's going to be willing to put the work in and step up to take those last spots.
You guys had a solid season, 9-12 last year, for having a lot of younger girls start really developing themselves into bigger roles. Now that they have that year of experience under their belt, what were your takeaways from last year going into this year? Before we start talking more about this year, what were some of the takeaways from last year going into this year with what you're returning?
That's what Jaden and Lila are the two biggest that are going to be that we're playing. Lila led her varsity last year by quarter wise, but she's going to be playing a lot bigger role this year. Jaden Smith was very close to lettering last year, and she'll be a varsity basketball player this year. And those two are the two that are making that big leap to the next level. They're both excellent at reading the ball defensively off the floor, or off when they're off away from the ball. And they're the two that have to make that big leap for us to be successful. And then same thing with Amore and Alyssa. They both have to make that next big step for us to be successful. I mean, we're relying on a lot of new players again this year, stepping into bigger roles. Not new players, but players stepping into bigger roles for us to be successful. The quicker that they learn their roles and fall into their roles, and take a deep breath, because there's sometimes we had our first scrimmage the other day, and first scrimmage jitters played a big role in it, of people being in new roles, realizing, hey, I'm a varsity basketball player this year. I'm going to have a big role in the team. As soon as they get all those jitters out, which I think will all be out by first game, they're all going to make that big leap and help us tremendously.
It's a tough conference, but it has run through United the last few years. And when you talk about playing in that EOAC and what kind of shakes out this year for it, where do you guys feel like you fit in, and where do you feel the squad fits in?
I think that United, Southern, Columbiana, they're all going to be the top of the league again. I think that that's going to be a great battle between all three of them on a regular basis. I I think we're right behind them, and if we play everything falls right some of those games, I think we could pick a couple of them off. But we have to take care of turnovers. We have to take care of giving up offensive rebounds, and we have to win it on the defensive end. We're not going to be able to do run and gun all the time and keep up in a high scoring game. We've got to keep the pace at our pace, win it on the defensive end, and then we can fall right in behind them, with the ability to move up into that category. But like I just said, it's got to be on the defensive end. That's how we're going to have to win this season.
What are some of these non-conference games that you guys have scheduled that you like? Because I mean, the non-conference gives you a chance to get some different looks aside from the conference. So, what are some games you're excited for this year?
I'm excited. We open up with Malvern. That's always a great opener. They're coming to our place this year. That should be a really good matchup right off the bat. Give us a little gauge of where we're at. They're always tough. They're always well coached. Same thing with Lowville. We have them on our out of conference. That'll be a good matchup. We have Heartland a couple times this year. I think we play them home and away. Those will be a good gauge for us too. And then Minerva comes to our place for senior night at the end of the year. So it's always fun bringing Minerva down. And then we end our season with East Canton, and they're brand new to our schedule. We haven't played them in probably 10 years or longer. So I don't know too much about East Canton, but I will before the end of the season when we play them our last game. So our out of conference schedule this year should be a lot of fun for us.
Bringing the an old matchup back from
Yes.
Yeah. So, Coach, I know no matter how many interviews you might get, you get the limelight. You're only as good as the staff you put around you. Any coach is only as good as the staff they put around them as well. What's the staff look like for the Blue Devils this season?
So we brought in two new coaches for our junior high this year, Rob Gregg and Ryan Brown. They've coached our youth program for a lot of years, either in basketball or football. And I've watched them throughout the years, just the way they can interact with the younger kids. Most important thing at the younger level is to keep them interested, keep them having fun. And Coach Gregg and Coach Brown are 100% going to do that. I walk into practices, walk through practices after our practices, and the girls are smiling. They're having fun. They're interested. They're enthusiastic. That's all thanks to Coach Brian and Coach Gregg down there at the junior high. I can't be thankful enough for that. We also have a lot of youth coaches, our youth program from 5th grade down, that I'm just thankful that parents step up, other people step up to coach them, because that's where it all starts. That's where they start learning all those skills to develop in the junior high and then eventually to us. And then my assistant coach, Coach Nikki Meek, I literally could not be here without her. Just to give you an example of how dedicated she is to the program, right now, as we sit here speaking, she is on her way to Duke University. She's going down to hear Kara Lawson, do a coaching conference with Kara Lawson, the girls coach for Duke. And she was worried that Duke men play on Friday night. She was worried that she was going to miss Thursday's practice, or didn't want to miss Thursday's practice, and didn't want to had a chance to go to the boys game on Friday, and was worried about missing a practice because then she wouldn't be able to go to the boys game. And I said, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You have to go. You have to go see the men play too.
No doubt. Yeah.
So she's just that dedicated that she was worried about missing a practice to go miss an opportunity like that. So there's words can't describe how thankful I am for her being around, everything she does for us.
You always need a good support system around you too, and it sounds like you got quite a great support system around
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Final question for you. It's a theme that I'm doing this year with all coaches. It goes back to the love of the game of basketball. It's what brings us back each and every year, no matter our role in the sport. It's why we keep coming back and doing it year in and year out. Where'd that love for the sport of basketball begin for you? Do you have an earliest memory, a pinpoint moment where you fell in love with the sport?
Oh gosh, I used to live right across the school from the high school, and my dad put in a hoop for us out back, and I would spend hours out there after he put it in, and just shooting out there and doing the buzzer beaters with nobody around, doing the countdown. And if I missed it, well, I got fouled. I had to go to the free throw line, shoot some more buzzer beaters. So it started at early age, just in the backyard, in our back driveway with the basketball hoop. And we had, at that point, Scott Henthorne, that graduated a couple years ahead of me. He would come over and play, and then just all my dad would play with me, my mom would play with me, my uncle would always come down and play with me. So it was just, that's where the love of the game started at early age, just in the backyard, and then grew from there.
I mean, it's always that starting point that got us to where we are too. We all had to fall in love with the game at some point. Coach, I want to thank you so much for the time you've given us to get a nice preview of your girls this year. We're wishing you the best of luck. We're rooting for the Blue Devils this year on the network, as I'm sure we here on YSN, we're going to cross paths with you and your team real soon.
Oh, yes. Ty, thank you for everything you did for this interview. Thank you for everything you do for YSN and YSN does for all of our communities around the Valley.
Anytime, Coach. We love the support you guys give us right back as well. This has been a great first edition of Coach's Corner with the Lisbon girls basketball skipper, Mr. Ryan Snyder.